Good evening. Can you hear me, Dr. Allen? Do I need to step away from the mic? Okay. I'm not Brent. Brent's at home where he needs to be. He and his wife welcomed the baby boy last night, so let's lift his family up in prayers and hope that they have a smooth transition with a new baby. And if you have a chance to send him a word of encouragement, please do it. My understanding, that's his first one, right? Yep. He needs to have 3 more. Then we can talk. I want to welcome all of you here tonight to our coaches banquet. I wanted to say thank you to the Rocket Club, the Friends of the Program, all that you do without your efforts each and every day, and the things that you do each and every day. A lot of the things that we try to do as an athletic program wouldn't happen. Unfortunately, it is an extracurricular activity, and some of the core programming that we do encompasses a lot of our budget. And without the support from you guys, supporting the different coaches, supporting our athletes, we definitely wouldn't have the programs that we have. So on behalf of the board and myself, we really do appreciate all that you do each and every day. Also want to thank Mark for all that he does. Do we have any other athletic directors here tonight? Who are my other athletic directors? Thank them for all that they do, because they're the coordinators of everything. They're on 24/7, 12 months a year. So we really do thank all that they give each and every day. I want to thank the coaches. I've been there and done it. Unfortunately, it can be the most thankless thing that you do, but you don't do it for that. You do it for your kids. To me, a coach is an ultimate teacher because you build relationships, and those relationships you carry. Even today, I talk with students that I've coached in the past, and it's nice to hear words of encouragement from somebody. And for some of you, that word of encouragement that you give your athlete each and every day might be the best thing they've heard. And I'll say it, and I will always say it. Sometimes athletics is the best deterrent to dropout because it gives a purpose. It gives a kid a why, and you foster that why, and we appreciate all you do. Spouses that are here, I'm going to go ahead and get all my thank yous out. All the spouses that are here, especially high school and middle school, when your spouse is on, I'm sure it's all basketball, all volleyball, all whatever sport, football, 24/7. I'm sure you get to hear the after program. I'm sure you get to hear the replay of every play. And I'm sure if you're like my wife, that you don't want to hear it, but we still talk about it. But we appreciate your support, because without your support of the coaches, it would be hard for them to do the job that they do. But I want to say a special welcome to everybody here. This is a time to celebrate the things that you do and to celebrate the successes that we've had. And again, thank you very much.
When I look out at those of you sitting in front of me tonight, there are particular words that always jump into my vocabulary and into my mind. They kind of go with coaches. When you say Coach X or Coach Y, the words that come to mind are champions, and team, and win, and dedication, and attitude. I have heard every one of you say those words over and over and over and over. You say it in presentations. You've said it in interviews that I have interviewed you for jobs for. You say it in letters of recommendation. Those are the words that connect you to what you do and to what your purpose is. And when somebody asks you, what do you want in an athlete? I hear those words again. You want a player who's willing to make a commitment to be as good as he or she can be every single time. You want a player that is willing to compete as though there's nothing more important in the world every time. You want a player who wants the team to be the best it can be every single time. And how do you get that from your team? You use those words every single time. And I hear them over and over. And your players hear them over and over. And that is important. As a coach, you know that you make lifelong relationships with your teammates. I know Michael knows that. All of you that were here when Michael was with us as a student, Michael has certainly made lifelong relationships with his coaches, with his teammates, with his fans, with his managers, with the bus driver, everybody that was involved in athletics. You make lifelong relationships happen. You are the motivator. You can get people to do things that they don't think they're capable of doing. There are a lot of people in a school or in a world that can't do that. And you can look at a young person and you can make them believe they can do something they don't believe they can do. And they go out there and do it because you said they could. And they believed you because of relationships with them. You change lives. You help your athletes write their story. You help them know that attitude is sometimes more important than talent. You're their leader every single time. Be still and watch your teams flourish. Be still and watch your teams flourish. Who came to mind when I said that sentence? Your coach? I can tell you who comes to mind first when I say that sentence. Be still and watch your team flourish. Amanda Ramirez lives that statement with her team. Be humble and let your team receive the praise and be recognized for their efforts. Capture the opening game enthusiasm and release it at every practice and every game, every time. The person that your players become is far more important than how they play the game you coach. So coach the real game. Make them winners in the world. That power lies in your hands. You are very special. And this recognition is but a small piece of how we can say thank you to you as a coach and what you do for our children. We hope you enjoy it. Join me in prayer, please. Most Heavenly Father, we thank you for our coaches and all those who support them. We thank you for the words that we hear in conversations about our coaches. We ask your blessings for every coach, every day, as they give unselfishly of their time and their skill to guide our athletes to excellence, to help them develop the attitude of winners, the humility to accept praise, and the strength to accept defeat and come again to compete. Thank you for coaches who help our athletes learn that you're not a team because you work together. You're a team because you trust, because you respect, and because you care for each other. We ask your blessings on this food and those who have prepared it for us tonight. May our bodies and spirit be nourished as we celebrate together. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Ms. Bradshaw. In a moment, the wait staff is going to come by. They're going to take your order. The management asked me to ask you to please stay seated until your order has been taken before you get to the salad bar. And also, there is another salad bar in the adjacent room, so if there's a log jam at this one, you can feel free to go to the other one. So enjoy your meal and this time to fellowship with one another. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and please continue eating. But again, I do want to thank you for coming out this evening to recognize a very special group of people, our coaches. And at this time, I do have some people that I do want to recognize, and I'm going to start with our board members since our superintendent is out of the room. Margaret Bradshaw, board chair, and if you would mind either wave or stand. Kay Allen, Harriet Tillett, and Philip Gillis was not able to be here with us this evening. On central office staff, we have Mr. Jared Dennis, Lori Stacy. We also have some school administrators. We have our principal of Person High School, Nelson Nowong. And we also have from Northern Middle School, Paul Rodeo. And we have any staff that's from Person High School, will you please wave your hand or? Yeah. Northern Middle School. All right. And we do want to say special thanks to Mr. David Bradshaw from WRXO, who is here this evening too as well. We want to say thank you. And our most distinguished guests are the spouses to our coaches, and we want you all to stand because I think you deserve a special recognition. So all the spouses or significant others, will you please stand? And we also want to recognize the Rocket Clubs for this event this evening. So if you wouldn't mind, please standing too as well, all Rocket Club members. Mr. Clayton back there wouldn't stand. And of course, here is our superintendent, Dr. Rodney Peterson. And in a few minutes, you will have a formal introduction of our speaker this evening, Mr. Michael Harris. I was trying to see if I told you. So please continue eating, and at this time, I think we have an introduction of the speaker.
Good evening, folks. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, and it's even a greater pleasure to introduce someone who I had the opportunity to maybe help coach a little bit. It probably wasn't my coaching ability, it was probably more his athletic ability and his willingness to work really hard, that has gotten him to the point where he is today. Michael Harris is a Person High School alumni. He graduated in 1999, and he matriculated to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, which is my favorite school because I'm also a graduate of UNC. While he was there, he wasn't recruited to play football, but he walked on. And according to Michael, I didn't act like a walk-on. I acted like a football player, and because he acted like a football player, he earned a scholarship, and he lettered for 3 years as a member of the football team. He played under Coach Carl Torbush and Coach John Bunting while he was there. And he said the highlight of his college career was when they upset Florida State when they were 0-3 after having lost to Oklahoma, Texas, and Maryland to start the season. So that's proof that it doesn't matter what your record is, that if you believe in what you do, that you can come out on top in games where maybe everybody else is saying that you can't. But I think as I look over his little sheet that he gave me, he really earned his stripes with what he did after his college playing career. He went on to He earned a Bachelor of Arts in Communication Studies, Interpersonal and Organizational Communication at UNC. Then he went to Towson University in Baltimore, earned his Master's in Business Administration at the Merrick School of Business, and he extensively studied leadership and organizational learning. After that, he went to, he spent those 5 years at Towson where he was an athletic academic advisor, and then he went on to the University of Maryland where he helped to work in their assistant athletic director for academic services and career development. In this role, he provided oversight to the academic center and the Gossett football team house and the academic support services of the University of Maryland football program. During his 5 years there, the football program experienced unprecedented academic success by climbing out of NCAA penalties that are associated with the academic progress rate, and they obtained some NCAA public recognition for this success. He is currently at the University of North Carolina, where he is the Associate Director of ASPSA, Director of Football Academics, and he started that position in August of 2016. And he's going to provide you with a lot of information about what he's done with his life and how he's been a success story that we can hold up for all of our student athletes.
Thank you for that warm introduction, and thank you all for the opportunity to come and to speak. I want to thank Jeremy. You know, we met at the football game at Notre Dame about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he said it'd be great for me to come, and I just really appreciate the opportunity to be here. A lot of folks, you know, may not know my mom is Maggie Witt, so if it seems familiar, it's because my mom worked in public education, and I've seen, you know, and so some folks didn't teach me, but I was around quite a bit with her, you know, whatnot. Yeah. And so, and they weren't able to be here tonight. Mom actually had some operation on eye and whatnot, but you know, I guess when your parents get older, those things happen. But again, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Person County has meant a lot to me, and the opportunity that I had there to play sports there. You know, whether it's running track or playing football, it's a great opportunity. And the coaches and the men that I had the opportunity to help shape me into who I am today, they mean so much to me. I think of coaches like Coach Harris. Coach Harris probably had more of an impact on me than just about anybody, just because he always believed. You know, he was a person that made me believe that I was capable of success, whether that was academically or athletically. You know, I remember being a high school freshman, and like my first season, I had an injury somewhere, you know, it just impacted how I ran. And so the guys used to tease me, and they called me slow-mo, you know, that fall, and that really bothered me. You know, it really bothered me. And then we went into the spring, and Coach Harris wanted me to run hurdles. And so just about anything Coach Harris asked me to do, I believed that I could do it. And he made me believe I could do it. I mean, we had one guy that ran hurdles that was, I mean, he was very good. I mean, he was, you know, Lacey Wiley. He's like, you can be just like Lacey. And, you know, you just watch Lacey. And so I did, and actually I think I probably performed better than I was capable of. And the next year when Lacey wasn't there, I wasn't very good. And so he said, well, I'll have you do pole vault. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not sure if any of you all have done pole vault before. It really wasn't my event, you know, and so I was doing a little bit of pole vault, and I was doing a little bit of hurdles, and I remember I had shin splints for like, you know, for 2 weeks, so like I had to take some time off. And I told Coach, he said, look, if you can get these hurdles out of my way, and I don't have to do these shin splints, then I'll run sprints, and I can promise you that I'll place in every event going forward. And that's when things changed, and I started running sprints, and myself, and at that time I think it was Myron Harris. We were winning every sprint out there, and we were doing some great things, winning some conference championships. But I just tell you just how important of a role you guys play in the lives of students. What I do today is I work with student athletes and academic support services. You know, some folks say, well, you know, are you keeping them eligible and so forth. I don't like to look at it from that perspective. What I try to do is help prepare students for life after sports. You know, when they get to me, then a lot of times, you know, the foundation that you all set is what's going to help them be successful. You have young people that are with you, whether it's in middle school or individuals that are in high school right now. The athletic part is important, but the academics is just important. And it's not just the academics, but what are we going to do with this? It's the vocational part of it, the guidance counselors, individuals being able to explain what it is to be successful. Because, to be honest with you, I have a nice title, I have a nice job, a good opportunity to work with some great people. I've had the opportunity to work with some great people. There are a lot of successful people out here that aren't doing what it is that I do. You know, I look at some of my teammates and individuals that are influential in the community, guys that you see at practices, and guys that are able to give back a little bit more than I can in the community in Person County. Those people are successful. Those people are doing great things. And a lot of those people you all help shape. I think in this room we have the power to do some things to really shape this community, to see something great happen in Person County. The pride of Person County is in this room, you know, in terms of athletics. You know, things aren't necessarily what they were like when, 20 years ago when I was a student athlete. So 20 years ago when I was a student athlete, you had different industries. You had CNA. You had just different places where people would come and work. And now a lot of our community, they're traveling. They have to travel to Durham, other places to work. And a lot of our parents are there doing those things. But what really ties people back to this community is the Person Rockets and what they do on the athletic field. Now, I've been away for some time, but every once in a while you hear about our community and some of the challenges that we have and some of our young folks and the troubles that they get into. Well, athletics is a great place to instill discipline and to give young people an opportunity to be a part of something that's greater than themselves. I think as we look at our way forward and what we do, I think about faith and family and community, and that's what Person County is about. I think one of the things that sticks out in my mind here, and it may just be because my dad's Reverend George Harris, and I grew up in the church and so forth, is just the faith that we have. I think we're a faith-based community. And I think as we begin as coaches, as administrators, and people in our schools and systems to be involved with these different churches and finding out where our people are going to church, what families are these people are associated with. I mean, we understand who our parents are, but do we understand who our pastors are? Because those can be some of the people that can help us get some of these young men or young women to our practices and to these different places so that we can also be a part of it. We all play an important role in developing these young people. I've been fortunate now being back. I attend Mount Zion Baptist Church in Greensboro. And sometimes I'm struck by the teams that show up as a team and coach as a team, and they're there, they pick a church they're going to go and they're going to attend. Those types of things, those are things that bring a glue there. And you get the trust of the different pastors and the different people that can have those conversations, those tough conversations with parents or with uncles or whomever about, we need to save this kid. One of the things I remember about being a young man growing up in Roxborough, we had people who were on the right path and then we had those that weren't on it. But the more that people understood where you were headed and the potential that you had folks that say, hey, look, that person has potential. You need to find a way, you need to leave him alone. You need to give him an opportunity to grow and to do something. And so what we have to do is continue to foster that as much as we can, to have people that see potential in each one of the young people that we touch and the lives that we touch. Nothing gives me more pride than to see people from Person County that are going and doing great things. This year just seeing Tyrone Outlaw Jr. out there playing on the big stage, and also seeing, when you come from where we come from, you claim other places too, like Oxford, and seeing Isaiah Hicks and Tyrone Outlaw Jr. and seeing them doing what they were doing. Because I remember when there was Tyrone Outlaw Sr. and there was Courtney Alexandria and those battles that were there. And we all play a role in terms of, helping to see those students get where they need to be. And it's not just about, passing them along, okay? Because to be honest with you, I've been doing academic support services for student athletes for going on about 13 years, maybe 14, now. And so I get students that have been passed along or whatnot. It's about holding them accountable. setting high expectations. You know, college isn't the finish line. That's just the beginning. You know, making sure they have the skills they need to be successful. In my role at the University of Maryland, I also oversaw the learning support services, and so in Division 1, we have people that are called learning specialists. They help students that have learning disabilities and different learning differences and so forth. But these are things that on your level that you may be seeing. You may have some students that they have trouble sitting down, have trouble paying attention, finding ways to get those students evaluated and get the feedback they need so that when they get to college, they understand where the deficiencies happen to be, but they also understand the strategies they need in order to be successful. Again, we all play a very important role in terms of supporting these students. You know, when I think about family, okay, we can talk about faith and giving hope, but the other part is family. You know, we have different families all throughout here, but on our teams, creating that family and that bond with the different student athletes that are playing together, whether it's at Southern or we're at Northern, and then when they get in person, you know, that family feel in everything that you do. Just understanding that we have a bond that is unbreakable by time. You know, no matter what, it may be 20 years from now or whatnot, but we bled, sweat, and had tears together, and we're going to be a family. You know, and creating that in every part of your routine. One of the coaches I had a great opportunity to working with was DJ Durkin when he got to the University of Maryland. One of the things about DJ, he had worked for Urban Meyer, and he also worked for Tim Harbaugh. So, I mean, he's like, you know, he's destined for greatness as a coach. And I remember one of his first meetings, he talked about the power of the unit. Okay, so each position group within the team had its unit, and each position coach was a unit leader. Okay, at Carolina we do something very similar. We just call it something different, called the power of the group. But the thought process is breaking it down into a smaller family, because and it's based off a military concept where people may not be able to fight for themselves, but they'll fight for the person that's across them. And so in every element of what we do, whether it's, you know, and when we're coaching young people, it's helping them develop that sense of family, the power of the unit, the power of the group. You know, I know football, so, and I know track and field and so forth, but it's not just on the athletic field, it's also being accountable for each other in the classroom. It's being accountable for each other when we're in the community. You know, those types of things, finding ways to be creative to do those things, to foster family within your team. The other part of it is, again, the community. You know, what we do, all the Person County is proud of what we do and what we accomplish in competition. You know, and making sure that our young people understand just how important it is for them, one, to play with heart. This is a team, you know, this is a town and a passion for this town. We always have to have heart and grit in what we do and discipline in what we do. Okay. One of the things I just being all over the place. When I first started my career, I worked at Western Carolina, and one of the great things about working at Western Carolina, my office was right beside this guy named Boris Dietz. Okay, Boris Dietz was like a Hall of Fame high school coach in Western Carolina. I think in Swain County is like Bryson City's out there. And we used to have all these conversations about just college athletics, high school athletics. And one of the things he just thought about, well, be a championship team, all you got to do is have discipline. You got to have 4 or 5 different things that you do very well. I mean, you got to know you're going to do it very well, because he was one of those old school types of guys. He said, but having discipline and grit. And I think as we look at our community and what we want to instill with our kids, the lessons that they're going to learn when they're on the court or on the field with us, just making sure that we understand how that's going to translate into our community 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when our student athletes are no longer just students, but they're people that are our fathers, there are teachers, there are parents that are coming to our different schools, and how that's going to go back into us. So the thing that I'll leave you with is that, again, Rocky Club, Person County Athletics, it's meant a lot for me. It's given me a great opportunity. It's prepared me for everything in my life that I've been able to do and everything I feel like I've been able to accomplish. There are other folks that may not have a fancy title or work at UNC. I mean, they're doing some great things too, and I think it's important to always highlight that, hey, you don't have to be, you know, where I am. And matter of fact, we're going to have success stories that may not have gone to college. You know, we're going to have some success stories of people that are good character, that are good men, that are good fathers, or good mothers, and so forth. And I think it's important to highlight those people. I think in our college, in our high schools and in our middle schools, we all play a role, you know, in terms of helping our student athletes understand, and people who may not be student athletes just yet, you know, and being able to, you know, champion the value of athletics and being a part of the team. And when you're having parent-teacher conferences and so forth, of advocating for your student or for other students to be a part of teams because of the lessons that are there. And then faith and making sure that we are a part of the community and a faith-based community that we have here in Person County, which I think is very strong and plays a huge role in the strength of our community. And the other thing is play with passion, just understanding that, you know, we are the rock, you know, and we're the rock of this community. It's what people brag about when they go to Durham and when they go to Oxford and when they go to some of these other places where they have to work. You know, they look forward to the games and the competition that you have, whether it's football, volleyball, softball, baseball, or whatnot. You know, just understanding that you represent more, and our students understanding they represent more than just themselves. So, thank you again for the opportunity to speak for you. I didn't want to be here for long, you know, whatnot. And hopefully I get a chance to come to see you guys again, and it's great to be back home. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Now we're going to go to the portion where we have the recognition of the awards, and the first award we're going to present is the Coaching Award. And Mr. Mark Phillips, if you'll come out and present the award, please.
A little tight back there. I'm gonna say it right here. Folks, at the end of the year, when we have our coaches breakfast, one of the things that we do at the end, we vote on for our coach of the year for that year. As far as the recognition goes, one of the best things I think is this is your peer group as a coach, and these are the people that, you know, they know what you go through every day, from the long hours in the classroom, then on the practice field, in the gym, dealing with all the other things. Everybody in here, we all walk that same walk, and everybody can appreciate what you go through. So this is a great honor to be voted on by your peer group. This year, I don't know if this is, I guess it's something to be proud of. I've been around long enough now, I'm going to get to present this to a coach that I had the honor of coaching and teaching when they were in middle school. We've done a good job over the last couple of years getting some of the graduates of Person High School coming back into the county, not only as teachers, but getting them in the coaching field as well. And you know, this young lady, she's had a great run the last couple of years. Last year we made it to the regional semifinals of volleyball, and we had regional finals this year, and it's my honor to give this to Amanda Ramirez tonight. We got to do a dad moment.
Come on, Cameron. Come on.
Okay.
All right.
Got it? Sure. It's your night. Give a couple words.
Oh. Wow. I'm not really gonna look at y'all because I'll start crying. This is such an honor. Because I look around, like there's people, don't do that. As I look around, there's so many people in here that have mentored me, not just as a coach and a teacher, but as a student athlete as well. People that have inspired me to go into teaching, to go into coaching. People that have, especially with my first couple years as the head volleyball coach, gave me great advice, even after having, I don't know if those of you that have followed, you know, the first year, was very challenging. It was very difficult. We had to completely kind of revamp the team mentality to where it is a team first mentality versus a whole bunch of individuals on the team. And I had a lot of great advice from Coach Klein and Coach Jacobs and a few others that really helped keep the fire going. This is awesome, especially with the amount of excellent coaches that we have at Person High School. It's just a huge honor, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hope y'all like my glasses. We swap off all the time. The Rocket Club annually presents an Outstanding Service Award to one of its members for going above and beyond the call of duty in most cases. They do a lot of work behind the scenes that goes unnoticed by many, but because of the efforts of the Rocket Club, we're able to raise money and to raise funds that we can give back to the athletic programs at Person High School. It's not always easy to do in today's economy, but we do have a community that is very, very, very supportive of us. And we have individuals that are very, very supportive of the entire athletic program. This year, the recipient of the Service Award for the 2016-2017 school year is someone who has exhibited those qualities. They've organized, they've helped in times when they didn't want to help, when they really needed to be doing something else, but they help because they love what they do. I don't know if there's such a thing as a Outstanding Service Award hat trick, but those of you who are hockey know that means that I've scored 3 goals, and so all the hats come out. But I don't see anybody in here wearing hats, so I don't guess we'll throw any of those tonight. But Amanda Phelps, for the 3rd consecutive year, has gone over and above the call of duty when it comes to staffing the concession stand at Rocket football games. She has absolutely been a godsend in terms of that. And when she said, well, we're going to do the middle school game, I said, I'll be the first one there, because on Friday nights, I'm usually down on the sidelines helping keep Coach Klein straight. But Amanda, we'd like to congratulate you again for all you do. We know you've got one more year. Maybe you can take this thing home 4 times and just set a record that nobody will ever break. Amanda Phelps, congratulations.
And I do it for the boys and the coaches.
You have the floor. It's all
No,
yours.
I'll be like Amanda. I do enjoy it. It has been a little struggle getting people to volunteer, but me and Jeremy have a plan for next year, and I think we'll do better with getting some volunteers, and I appreciate this, and I do love the boys, and they deserve everything we can raise for them.
Thank you. Let's have one more round of applause for Michael Harris and our award recipients. Sorry, I'm getting a little raspy. On behalf of the Person County Schools Board of Education and the Rocket Club, I would like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. As you noticed, it's rather inclement as far as the weather goes, so please be safe tonight. And don't just be safe for yourself, be safe because there are a lot of young men and women that count on you. And not just during the season when you're coaching, but all throughout the year, because you do guide and mean a lot to these students, these student athletes. And so please, you have my gratitude. I've been a coach. It's a thankless job sometimes, and I'm not going to reiterate everything that's been said before, but just want you to know that you mean a whole lot to these kids, because I think I am where I am today because of my coaches. I had some great coaches who didn't just guide me through athletics, but helped guide me through my education, guide me through life. Thank you again for coming out, and have a great evening.